Hey everybody, welcome back to Zine Cuisine. It has been a whole pinch of time, hasn't it? I've missed you. I haven't seen you since what? June? June. It was June. It totally was. Anyway, what I want to do with Zine Cuisine is I need to change it up. I needed a break. I really did. I kind of went hard and heavy right after the last few Zine Fests, right into the quarantine, the whole pandemic stuff. Honestly, it was very overwhelming. And mentally, I could not create anything. I didn't even want to be on camera. I did some TikToks. I have a couple of Zine TikToks. I'll probably post them. I think they're pretty cool. And I just needed a break. I needed a well-earned break because I also work a full-time job. So it's kind of been like a weird time, really weird time. I'm sure you know 2020 has been a dumpster fire. Anyway, so I digress. Some of the changes we are going to be instituting here at Zine Cuisine 2.0 is I'm bringing on a co-host, somebody who is young, fresh, has a new view on zines because they are new to zines. Bringing on my co-host, cohort, and all around coolest young sibling ever, Ellie. Ellie is 16, really cool, went to SPX with us last year just to learn about SPX and has gotten into collecting zines and making zines, which is really cool. So, having that differential perspective, having a 16-year-old and a close to 40-year-old, two different complete generations of zinesters, which I love and I think is really going to benefit when we start talking about and reviewing zines. We're both going to see completely different things. Alright, so I have a list, boop, and we're definitely going to get through a bunch of this, and this season will probably wrap up in January, February, maybe March. Hopefully we're not still under quarantine. We have a couple Zine Fests to cover because, Lord Almighty, I have not been able to get in to virtual Zine Fest. I can't do it. I am ADHD. I am autistic. It is not my thing. I like to have physical things. I am a goblin. I like to go in, I like to scrounge around, touch everything, and then end up with a bag full of zines at the end of the day. It's literally therapy. Doing online, I want to be able to see what kind of paper is it. Is it risograph printed? Is it copier? I want you to tell me your story. I want to chit chat with you. I want to get pho and bubble tea, and that's just the thing. So I can't wait till we can have another actual Zine Fest because this, I like seeing it, but it's not for me. I am not really good at this at all. Anyway, back to the list. Alright, so I have some episodes that I think are going to be super important, and I really hope that you sound off below on Instagram or on our Twitter and tell us what you think. I want you to help me come up with episode names. Do you want to see an episode about how paper is made? I don't know. You need to tell me, because I'm not really that good at coming up with this stuff. It's a lot of research, and I'm not really good at that all the time. Some of the episodes that I have planned are things like paper choice. Choosing your paper is super, super important when you are making a zine, whether it be laser printed, copy stock, like you're literally going to your printer and just making copies, or are you going to have it professionally printed? Are you going to use a risograph machine? Which I would love to have my own, but they're like $4,000 and I ain't got that kind of money. So, you do what you do. Do you send it off to get printed? I see a lot of us are doing things like printing them ourselves because there's really no shows, so I can't legitimize going out and getting printed by somebody else right now. It ain't gonna work. So there's that. Okay. Here we go. OG zine books. And I'm gonna actually introduce one of those really shortly, and I'm really excited about it. Sizes. What kind of sizes does everybody like making their zines? I personally love the shapes. I like squares. As you can tell from former episodes when I covered meeting comics, it's in a square. I love it. I have circle pizza shaped zines that I love that. And some other really cool weird stuff. So we're going to talk about that. Shapes, of course, I just mentioned that. Shapes and sizes, like, do you like half page? Do you like a full, like, digest? Do you like it to look like an old-timey newspaper all folded up? I don't know. You need to tell me. So we're also going to go through Reviewrama. We didn't nearly do enough reviews in the last ones. And I think I was trying to make each review too precious and cover just one person over that. I think what we need to do is Reviewrama and actually cover multiple different zines that have been sent in. Now, what I'm doing with some of these zines, and I will be sending them off to one of my friends who has a zine library in Ohio, and so they can kind of keep up with the zine library. And we also have our own zine library. A zine library is really cool because, you know, you can be able to look at zines and enjoy them, and if you don't really have the money, it's not a big deal. You're just looking at them, you're borrowing them, you're reading them, you're enjoying them. And that's the big thing, is enjoy the zines. Zines are there for consumption of your soul. Not like they're going to consume your soul, but your soul is going to consume them. That sounds really, really, really weird. Spooky weather. I'll let it pass. Okay, so Reviewrama. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Reviewramas planned. Ooh, let's talk about software. I definitely want to talk about how you make your zines. Do you do them on a computer? Please, if you do them on a computer, I want to know what software you use. I use Clip Studio. It's my personal preference. I do a lot of my art in there, and that's my digital thing. Occasionally, I'll do the old-fashioned by hand, but I still end up scanning it in and punching up the lines just a little bit, just because I want it to look toyed, like a toyer. And collecting, let's talk about collecting. Let's talk about what kind of zines do you collect? How many zines are in your collection? And what I want to do with this is I want you to take a picture of your collection and give me like a 5-minute mini video of what you like to collect, how long you've been collecting, and what is your top 3 favorite zines. Top 3. That's it. I just want 3. I know I could like go, you're my top 100 zines, but top 3, please. And let's see, the future of Zine Fest. And I'm actually going to have a few guests on. If you are interested in being a guest, please PM us. I want you to be able to talk about if you run a Zine Fest or a Zine Fair, or you're planning one and it got canceled, or you're, you know, really into going to them. What are the future of Zine Fairs? If you ran a couple of virtual ones, I want your honest opinion on how that worked out. Mice was virtual this year. SPX was virtual this year. A bunch of them just aren't happening until next year. And that's, to me, it just, I understand. It's the pandemic. It is not 100% safe to be doing this. And I went to a Comic-Con recently, and granted, Big Lit Comic-Con did literally everything they could to be safe. You had to have a mask on. There was no ifs, ands, or buts, and believe me, they were heavily patrolling, making sure everybody was safe and doing that. They gave everybody hand sanitizer. They had hand sanitizing stations throughout the con. They had us spread out. They had like little mini cubicles, and it was super safe. I think that they did the best that they could, but it's not a zine fair. It's like a collector's and comic kind of art thing. Completely different than a zine fair. Trust me, they're like night and day, apples and oranges, all that kind of stuff. So I want to know what you think that the future of zine fairs will be. I am going to show you a book that during the beginning of the pandemic, I went ahead and I bought on Facebook. This is a much older book. Much older. It's like, I remember having this book in the library when I was a preteen. So it's really cool. The book is The World of Zines. Anyway, A Guide to Independent Magazine Revolution. This was by the editors of Backsheet 5. Any of us OG zinesters, that is like royalty. A lot of people know about Backsheet 5 if you were a teenager or adult in the 80s and 90s. It was super big. I would love to be able to talk to the authors. If you know them, please hit me up. I want to talk to them about this book. This book meant a lot to me when I was like 13, 14, getting into zines, and I was sending self-addressed stamped envelopes out just so I can get zines. I had a collection for a while that were just like so bizarre. And that's what got me into zines. I was so young and I loved it. Okay, so this was put out by Penguin Books. If you can find a copy, you'll probably find it on eBay. You might find it on your local yard sale page. And there's a lot of great zines in here. So if you were into like looking at Science and Beyond or some other kinds of zines, there were so many zines to send off for. This one right here, we have Strange Magazine from Rockville, Maryland. I don't even think most of these exist. I really don't. But, okay, so here you go. You got, and it's set up a lot like, I don't know if anybody else who is my era remembers, but the World Book was huge, and you could like send away for all this information and the whole catalog, the whole Earth catalog. That's what it was called. I'd love to get my hands on one of those. Let me tell you what, I used to have one when I was a teenager, and this is set up a lot like that. It's basically a catalog of different zines. So you've got different things like Wacky Dog, and this is all potpourri zines, a little bit of everything, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, potpourri too. The Unmentionable, check this out. That is some spooky stuff right there. And let's see, some from Canada, ones about people. Here we go. The Made Easy series for the modern lesbian. There you go. There's a bunch of little mini zines. And as for, I think that's Girl Jock. You have so many different comics and spirituality and production and a really nice big index. So if you're looking for some OG zines, you want to collect some, you can go on eBay. I definitely bought one older zine on eBay, and I cannot wait to share that one with you too. I'm gonna probably get a couple more. I like getting the vintage zines. And yes, this plant keeps on eating my hair because it thinks that my hair is a plant. Anyway, so I love this right in the back here. What Newsweek can't tell you. Things USA Today only wish you knew. Topics too hot for Cosmo. It's all in the zines. That's literally should be our tagline for any zine thing. Too hot for Cosmo. Zines. No? Too much? Anyway. Well, again, thank you for coming back. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that little bell, and that just tells us that you want to get more tasty zines to your mailbox. And I hope to see you soon. Next week, I am planning an episode. We're going to do a Reviewrama #1 with Ellie. And we're probably going to go over a good bit of the mail. Bon appetit. Thank you for coming. Your Auntie Zine Art is very proud of you. We love you, and you are totally wanted here. Peace out. Boop.